the fact that they're right about that part, like where else are you gonna go, makes it all the more, makes my fucking oppositional defiance all the more want to say fuck you and say no way. Fuck you. I'd rather watch it burn. I'd rather fucking, I'd rather get thrown in the fucking camps, okay? Than deal with you. That's how bad you are at doing this, right? And they need to know. And they need to get their asses kicked. And that's the problem, right? Is that because Trump is here, the second that he dies, it will not be like this anymore. The other one has her faults or whatever, and the other one's Donald Trump, right? Like that. And so it's like when you look at it as black and white like that, and you don't take anything like femicide into consideration, then, then the choice is obvious, right?
Yeah.
But that's the problem, right?
Speaking of that, did you hear apparently the State Department issued warnings a week after October 7th last year, saying escalation of this could result in like unprecedented humanitarian crisis, and the Biden administration ignored the thing and actually escalated, or what was the word, sped up like the supply of weapons to Israel. Like they were like, well, no, we can't get them to them on Thursday. We need to get Tuesday. Like we're going to go faster,
Of course.
So that was interesting to find out. That was like the bombshell that was dropped recently that's never going to get covered by mainstream media.
No, and but also like I also understand that there's a contingent of Democrats where, assuming that they acknowledge that what's going on is a genocide, which is harder not to do than it's ever been, they'll say that Kamala will be better on this than Trump and than Biden, right? If they're smart, they'll say it that way, right? They'll at least say the first part, which has yet to be proven. But I'm sure it is technically, it's like whatever. Like maybe there will be one less dead Palestinian kid, one, right? But the thing that is being left out that I think needs to be addressed by these people harder, right, is the end of that sentence is, comma, and I know that her being better than Biden on this is the absolutely lowest bar to clear that has ever existed, right? It's like Kamala will be better than Biden about this because she has to be, because there's no one that's worse, right? Yeah. There's no one in the Democratic Party that's worse. There's no one, right? And, part of that is Biden's senility, but part of it is also that even if he wasn't senile, he's still the most Zionist Christian in the world. And so what? It's like, so, but then they go to all the stuff that Kamala will be better about, right? And one thing, it's like I'm convinced of one thing, but I'm not convinced of the other. One is that she's going to be better about women's stuff. And again, very low bar. Very, very low. Right? But
I mean, like,
to be,
yeah, when presented with the opportunity to do so, but it's like, what's, what bills are Congress going to be
yeah,
doing
when will
this
that
season?
opportunity present itself? But also, she will be better. This is the one I hear the most. And this is the one where I don't believe anyone. She will be better about LGBTQ stuff. And to that I say, what has any national Democrat done for anybody of the LGBTQ community in a red state? That's the fucking thing. And the closest I got, because I asked the guy this question and he actually had an answer. So bully for that guy, because that's the only time fucking anybody, like, they dodged this question hard, right? But the one answer was that Biden signed a bill that was called the Respect for Marriage Act, right? It basically, what it did was it repealed the last vestiges of the Defense of Marriage Act, which was like the Bush fuck the gays bill, whatever. And the provision that it struck down was that your marriage could not be recognized by a state because of the conscience of some religious conservative in that state, right? Like, if you're married and you're gay, you want to get married and you're gay and you're in fucking wherever, Mississippi, then you get to be married. You're fucking, the lady at the courthouse doesn't get to be like, fuck you because I'm a Christian and I don't believe in your right to do that, right? And to that I said to the guy, hey, technically that's a thing.
Yeah.
But again, a very low bar.
Didn't the Supreme Court overrule that anyways?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So great, good job. But yeah,
the point that the guy was making was that the Supreme Court upheld that law, right? The thing that Biden signed, the Supreme Court looked at that and was like, this is fine or whatever, right? Now,
I thought that they ruled the opposite, that the
no, they did. They've gone back and forth about all kinds of shit over and over again for years, especially the last couple of years. But it's like, so there is, but the guy's point was, so there you go, buddy, right? And that's the thing that I really want to talk about. The thing that I want to talk about the most is just how many smug, self-righteous, genocide dismissing liberals I have encountered in the wild who basically say that if you are making equivalencies between these two candidates, then you're just as bad and you might as well vote for Trump. That whole thing, right? And I cannot believe that they've learned nothing. Learned nothing.
No. It's like we're back in 2016 again.
It's unbelievable. Like, it's like we're back in 2016 or like we're back in 2019 or 2020, right? Because Biden was also saying, well, if you think that, then just go ahead and vote for Trump, right? Like, it was this defiant, like, fuck you, you got no other game in town. There's no other game in town, right? That's been the liberal, like, message forever. This is it. Fuck you. What are you gonna do? Be a fascist or vote for us?
Yeah, my coworker, we were talking about like, top played artist on Spotify or whatever music app you use or whatever. And he's like, mine's Kanye West. He's like, is that bad? Like he's like, I feel like I should feel bad about it. And I was like, well, honestly, I think Benjamin Netanyahu and the other, fascists around him and government, in the Israeli government, have done way more, like hundreds of times more to fuel anti-Semitism than anything Kanye can say on Alex Jones' podcast.
Oh yeah. Well, and because it's real easy to condemn Kanye.
Yeah.
Not hard at all. I'll condemn what Kanye said. I don't love Hitler, in fact. Right? Like, I'll give them that I think he's a little on the crazy side and is saying kind of bullshit that maybe nobody should pay attention to him. Like, that's that's the one thing that does freak me out about, like, what's going on with Kanye is, like, what really should be happening to Kanye is no one should be talking about him at all. And that, I think, is happening now, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, like, for the most part, he'll drop a mediocre song and people will be like, this shit is, half the people will be like, this shit's fire, and everyone else is like, yeah, sure, and then you don't hear about it a week later, it's done,
Right.
Absolutely just erased from memory. And then, like, I mean, whatever. It doesn't matter. He's a musician. Judge him by his music.
Crazy guy who's saying crazy shit drops song.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But anyways, yeah, like, okay, he said some stupid shit, but is he, like, enacting a genocide and using, like, the Holocaust as, like, some sort of justification for the genocide?
Right.
No. That would be Benjamin Netanyahu and the other fucking absolute psychopaths in the Israeli government right now. Most of the names I can't think of right now, but you got the, like, whatever, Benjamin, whatever the fuck his name is, like, dude who has literally been, I got his name wrong. I can't remember what it is. I think it's
Ben-Gvir.
Yeah, Gvir. Yeah, literally been convicted of, like, terrorism.
Yeah,
against Palestinian people, and he's, like, in charge of the fucking military or whatever. Like, it's just absolute, like, the inmates are running the asylum over there, and that's why they're acting like it's like a geopolitical temper tantrum they've been throwing for the past year, especially the past couple months with Lebanon, like, just lashing out, screaming, crying. Everyone just wants to fucking smack them in the ass and be like, shut the fuck up. But there's, military implications to doing that. Right, and so people are being very reserved instead. But everyone wants to just like give them a nice hard spanking.
Well, and that's what I think that I think that Iran is maybe the only country in the world that could give them that spanking, and then look around like, you can't tell me they didn't deserve this, right? Like that's the thing that I keep thinking about, like, you know, whenever anybody's like, oh, Iran's firing rockets, okay, it's World War III, I guess the U.S. is going to get involved now. It's like, hey, we're spread pretty thin, and our army isn't doing so great, and we're all mentally ill and overweight, and I don't think that fucking they are ready to go.
Well,
And
the infuriating thing with all this, the really just maddening thing is like every time they talk about like the missile attack from Iran into Israel, it's like, oh, this unprovoked like escalation or whatever. It's like, oh, we just forgetting like literally 10 days ago, Israel assassinated, I believe it was a Hezbollah leader in Iran. I mean, can you imagine if like the fucking president of Australia was visiting Joe Biden in the White House and he went back to his hotel in DC and then fucking some foreign country like shot a missile somewhere and fucking killed the dude, the president of Australia in the United States? Do you think the US would fucking be fucking bombing some shit the next day? I definitely fucking think so.
Yeah.